It was a chaotic scene, reports of an active shooter, customers and workers running for cover. And when it was over, a young woman was shot and killed by a suspect, who in turn was shot dead by Berkeley police.
On September 21, 2023, workers of Toyota of Berkeley Service Center, including Alonna Gallon, resumed office as usual. For her, it was just another workday, meeting with customers and attending to their car troubles. But if only she knew that a few hours later, she would meet a tragic end at the hands of her baby's father. This is the story of Alonna Gallon and how her death resulted in making her child an orphan. Alonna Gallon was born into a close-knit family and taught the values of hard work and perseverance. Like every young woman, she had dreams of living a successful life. But in the process, she got into a relationship with Lamar Walker. At first, as it is with most relationships, their relationship was beautiful and filled with hope for a bright future. But they were both young, barely adults. At the age of 17, the young couple welcomed a son, whom they named King. While the birth of their son was a joyous moment for the couple, it also became the start of a break in their relationship. Perhaps it was the pressure of taking care of a child at that age. But try as they might have to salvage the relationship, it eventually came to an end. According to Alonna's mother, Alonna decided to end the relationship and distance herself from Walker because of Walker's reckless behaviors. But unlike some women who would stop their baby daddy from getting access to the child, Alonna tried her best to create a healthy co-parenting relationship with King's father. She did this because she didn't want King to feel the absence of his father. However, after the separation, Lamar decided to move to Atlanta, leaving most of the burden of taking care of a child on Alonna. She took it in stride. Although giving birth and taking care of a child at such a young age changed the course of her life, Alonna decided to change her dream. While once her dream was solely focused on herself, with the birth of her son, she began to see herself building a stable career for her son's future. Her dream was to give her son every opportunity she had missed, and she worked towards it. She wasn't one to wait for child support from her baby daddy before her son would feed. She worked hard to ensure the stability of her son's future. This was something that everyone could testify about her. According to her mother, Alonna dreamed of a life where she'd send her son off to college and support him through his transitioning stages of life. This was why she set up a college fund where she saved a significant amount of her salary every month. She also never failed to encourage her son's athletic spirit. Her close friends noted that Alonna would light up whenever she talked about King's love for football and basketball. She wanted her son to succeed in every way. To show how committed she was to providing a stable future for her son, Alonna didn't just work at Toyota Service Center. Not minding how exhausted she would be, she took up 2 other different jobs. She worked at a car rental company and a grocery store. All of these were just to ensure the security of her son's future. One would think that with how busy she was, she wouldn't have time for her son. But that wasn't Alonna. Despite her busy schedule, she made sure to let King know that he was her priority. She made sure to allocate time every day where she spent time with him. Their daily routine was filled with precious moments, including homework sessions, bedtime stories, and conversations about King's Day. It can be rightly said that Alonna was a supermom. But she wasn't just a supermom, she was a great co-worker. At the Toyota Service Center, Alonna was known as the nice girl who said hi to everyone. Despite the challenges associated with single parenting, she never failed to maintain her warmth and composure. Throughout all these, Alonna continued to maintain her distance from her ex, Lamar Walker. Unfortunately, Lamar refused to accept the reality. He wanted to continue being in a relationship with Alonna. The idea that Alonna no longer wanted anything to do with him was something that he could not fathom. So, he began to try everything that he could to make Alonna come back to him, even to the point of harassment. His return to California further worsened the situation. Alonna tried to limit the extent of their interactions to matters relating to their son, but Lamar wanted more. He wanted to reconcile with Alonna. But Alonna remained steadfast in her decision to build a stable life for herself and her son. Interestingly, on September 20th, Alonna took to her ex account to pour out her frustrations. Her post revealed that she was being harassed by her child's father, Walker. She wrote, "My biggest regret is having a kid by the person I had a kid by, but that L is a lesson." In another tweet, she said, "I keep stopping myself from posting so much. Oh my God, let me just change my number and leave it to God like I have been doing." This was clearly a cry for help. From all indications, so much had been happening between herself and her baby daddy, but she chose not to say anything. But then it got too much that she had no choice but to say something on Twitter. If only those around her had taken note, perhaps she would not have been killed the following day. On Thursday, the 21st of September, 2023 began like every other day. She woke up, got her son ready for school, and headed to her job at the Toyota of Berkeley Service Center. She worked in the call center department. She greeted her coworkers with the same smile that always graced her face. Nothing was out of the ordinary, or so everyone thought. While Alonna was busy attending to customers, her ex, Lamar Walker, had made a fatal decision, one that would forever change the lives of everyone connected to Alonna, especially her son. By 11 a.m., Lamar walked into the car dealership. He was on an orange sweatshirt and had a cup of Starbucks coffee in his hand, which he gave to Alonna. After giving her the coffee, he left. Alonna returned to her work, thinking that was the last of him she would see that day. But she was wrong, because at exactly 11:15 a.m., he came back again. The fact that he came back just 15 minutes later meant he didn't even leave the area. Perhaps he was contemplating the terrible choice he was about to make. This time, he walked up to Alonna's desk and snagged in a brief conversation with her. To her co-workers and onlookers, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. But in the next few seconds, everything changed. In the presence of her co-workers and customers, Lamar Walker reached into his pockets and brought out a revolver. He pointed the gun at Alonna and pulled the trigger before anyone could react. One can only imagine what Alonna felt at that moment, as the gun was pointed at her. While we can only speculate, there is no doubt that she thought about her son King and who would take care of him with her gone. She probably also thought about her choice of a baby daddy. The whole situation happened in a few seconds, but the aftermath would last for a long time. The gunshot sent shock waves across the workplace. Employees and customers scrambled for safety, and emergency calls flooded the 911 dispatch center. It was chaos. Kevin Ball, the executive vice president of Pacific Standard Service, a commercial kitchen repair company, reported that employees of the Toyota Service Center had taken refuge inside his business. The workers included several women who shared an office with Alonna Gallon. Imagine the shock and trauma these co-workers had felt. Just a few minutes ago, they had been talking and chatting with Alonna, but in the next few minutes, the person they had seen and spoken with was gone. According to the emergency radio traffic, Berkeley dispatchers sent police and firefighters to the Toyota Service Center on East Shore as assistance. Dispatchers also advised that they were struggling to reach Albany's 911 center because all of their lines are compromised at this time. On arriving at the scene, witnesses told the police that a young man was inside the building with a gun. Quickly, the police set up a fast-action team to enter the building shortly before 11:30 a.m. According to Kevin Ball, who was watching the scene from his business, a number of police officers entered the Toyota building carrying rifles.
Post. I'm posting. Go. 10-9. 10-9. Table this. Yep. Hey, push up, push up.
Cross one, guys.
Push.
There's a big office on
Hey! Hands up! Hands up!
Hands up!
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Hey! Hold your fire, hold your fire. Shots fired, suspect down. Get a roll call.
Okay, we have possible DOA. Keep eyes on, let's do the rest. I got along with the right.
Inside the building, the police saw a tragic scene. Alonna was lying on the ground beside her desk. Her life had been cut short with a gunshot. There was nothing the medical team could do to revive her. As the first responders secured the building, they received a report that Walker had moved to the second floor. Slowly and steadily, the 5 police officers moved to the second floor, not knowing what was awaiting them. On getting there, they found themselves face to face with Lamar Walker. He was still holding the revolver. From the body cam video later released, the police tried to de-escalate the situation, but it was to no avail. Walker pointed his gun at the officers, and the next thing that followed were gunshots from the police. Lamar was killed. From outside, Kevin Ball reported that he heard 8 gunshots at about 11:30 a.m. This was how the 7-year-old King lost both his parents in the space of 30 minutes. After the shootout, Berkeley Sheriff Lieutenant Taya Modeste reported that Walker may have attempted suicide before the arrival of law enforcement, but he was unsuccessful in his attempt. Perhaps he felt guilty for taking the life of the mother of his son. We will never know. The aftermath of Alonna's death was particularly terrible, especially for her mother and her son. Alonna Gallon reported that she had to wait 6 hours at the police station before she received the devastating news. A news that no mother would wish to receive about their child. In an interview, she said, "That is saddening for me, for real. I told King that his mom and his dad was gone, and he laid his head back and said, 'No, they're not.' He walked out crying. He's seen everyone crying." What a tragic situation. Imagine how the going boy would feel, not just hearing that he has lost both his parents on the same day, but also that his father killed his mother. That is a trauma that would affect him for a lifetime. Following the death of Alonna and Walker, 4 separate investigations were launched to determine the truth and motives behind the death. The Albany Police Department took the lead in investigating Alonna's murder, piecing together the events of that morning that led to her death. The sheriff's office focused on the officers involved in the shooting that resulted in Lamar's death. They wanted to ensure that all protocols were followed during the confrontation. Meanwhile, the Berkeley Police Department conducted an internal review examining their response and any potential areas of improvement in their procedures. On November 3, 2023, 6 weeks after the tragedy, the Berkeley Police Department released a comprehensive package of evidence they had been able to gather regarding the events of that fateful day. This included surveillance footage from the dealership, body camera recordings, and audio from the 911 calls that morning. The surveillance footage revealed the horrifying final moments of Alonna's life. Walker could be seen walking toward her desk, followed by a brief moment of interaction, and then the shot that ended her life. But despite the investigations, it only brought more questions than answers. The police could not come up with a possible motive as to why Lamar killed Alonna, and you can't exactly blame them because both people involved in the incident were dead. Both of them cannot give their side of the story. Besides, when she was alive, Alonna didn't talk much about what was going on with her and her ex. Only a few people knew that she decided to break things off with Lamar because of his reckless behavior. This was confirmed by a woman who identified herself as Alonna's sister. She took to social media to recount Lamar's reckless behavior and called out the lack of protection from her co-workers that were present at the dealership that day. She wrote, "I love you so much, sis. I'm sorry I couldn't save you. Your job. He knew we couldn't save you and they assholes for not protecting you. If we was anywhere else, you would have been protected and saved. I would never be okay. The only question I have for God is, will I see you?" In another tweet, she alluded that Alonna was aware of Lamar's behavior and that lately he had been acting strangely. Perhaps Lamar had been calling her too much and maybe even showed up at her workplace. She also added that the reason Lamar could do what he did was because he knew he couldn't get close to her anywhere else but her job. This is so sad. Following her death, Alonna Gallon, Alonna's mother, launched a GoFundMe to support King. Alonna described her daughter as incredibly kind, caring, shy, and goofy, who always put her son's needs before her own. Alonna dreamed of a life where she'd send her son off to college and support him through his transitioning stages of life. According to her, the funds would be used to fund King's college expenses, therapy sessions, and extended enrichment programs for her grandson, such as football and basketball, which are his favorite sports. With Alonna gone, her mother has now stepped into a role she never expected to play. She now has to raise her grandson while dealing with the loss of her daughter. For King would now have to live life without the presence of his mother. What a tragic tale. Alonna Gallon's case is sadly one among millions of workplace violence that takes place every year in the United States. According to reports, more than 2 million people report experiencing workplace violence every year. But the sad part is that experts believe that this is just half of the actual number. According to them, many cases go unreported, especially for women. Women are 4 times more likely to be victims of workplace homicide than domestic violence. This is alarming and raises questions about what measures employers are taking to remedy this situation. What most people do not realize is that when domestic violence escalates and the victims try to distance themselves from the situation, abusers tend to target their workplaces. This is because they are predictable locations where the victims can be found. As Alonna's sister revealed, Lamar did not attempt to carry out his plan somewhere else like her house. Perhaps Alonna had restricted him from visiting her. He planned the attack at her workplace because he knew that he would always find her there. But logically, isn't the workplace supposed to be safer? Sadly, studies show that 65% of companies do not have a formal workplace violence policy that addresses domestic violence. This gap unfortunately makes employees caught in this circle vulnerable, especially when they are trying to maintain boundaries. But companies need to do better. They can implement several crucial safety measures, including security entry points. Perhaps if there had been a security entry point at the Toyota dealership, the gun might have been detected and Alonna would have been alive. Companies and businesses can also install panic buttons and workstations and create safe rooms where employees can retreat in case of an emergency. Most importantly, employers should create a safe environment and establish clear protocols for handling domestic violence concerns when reported by victims. Some companies, for instance, have started implementing personal safety plans for at-risk employees, including relocating workstations from the public, providing escorts to and from park areas, and having photos of potential threats available to security personnel. Perhaps Alonna might have been alive with her son if the Toyota dealership had all these measures. It is quite unfortunate that such a thriving young beautiful woman had to lose her life and become another victim of workplace violence. Before we end this video, we want to use this medium to reach out to anyone who is a victim of domestic violence. Please do not keep quiet, speak out, and protect yourself. Let your family, close friends, and your fellow employees at work know what is going on. In addition, if you know anyone who is a victim of domestic violence, please do not hesitate to reach out to them. You might just save a life by doing so. If you like this video, kindly drop a comment down below, hit the like button, and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this.